The Empress was shocked to discover that drinking the maid's blood would make the beastly fur on her face vanish. Her appearance would also return to its youthful state. What she didn't know was that her weasel body and the fox were naturally at odds. The maid knew that if the Empress drank her blood, she would die without a burial. As long as she broke the killing and lust vows, the Empress would completely transform into a half-human, half-demon monster. The maid was actually a fox spirit. She entered the palace to seek revenge. 10 years ago, the Empress, seeking eternal youth to gain the Emperor's favor, deceived and cruelly killed her sister. What the Empress didn't know was that her sister was actually a fox in disguise. The previous fox spirit had taken pity on her and kept her by her side. But the Empress mistook her for the fox spirit. The fox spirit and the weasel followed entirely different cultivation paths. Foxes had to restrain themselves from sexual affairs. Weasels had to strictly observe the killing vow. Thus, after killing her sister, the Empress had to observe the same vows as her sister. Otherwise, she would become a half-human, half-demon monster. Recently, the Empress had been growing fur and dared not show her face. Rumors spread throughout the palace. She discovered that the maid's blood could temporarily suppress the beastly nature and took her as a servant. She ordered her to ensure she wouldn't have any more problems. However, in order to make the Empress fully become a demon, she had to be lured into breaking the vows. One day, the Empress' fur grew again. She wanted to drink blood to suppress it. The maid lied, claiming to be a witch serving the Fox clan. Drinking too much of her blood would backfire. At this point, the maid suggested a method to temporarily suppress the transformation. She said that killing a maid, other than herself, would restore the Empress's appearance. To regain her youth, the Empress didn't hesitate to kill her personal maid. This act avenged her sister and also broke the killing vow. But drinking blood only provided temporary relief. The next day, the fur grew again. This time, the maid suggested using a method to absorb vitality to make the Empress break the lust vow. The Empress, thinking she had mastered the art of fox seduction, immediately had the maid thrown into the dungeon. She didn't know that after both vows were broken, she would completely transform into a demon in 2 days. Soon, the day of the blessing ceremony arrived. The Emperor, ignoring everyone's objections, insisted on making the Empress his consort and taking her to sacrifice to the heavens. The maid in the dungeon had already calculated the time of the Empress's transformation. As the countdown ended, they saw the Empress's beastly fur quietly growing again on the altar. The suppressed beastly nature surged up uncontrollably. It drove her to lunge at the Emperor.